Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. Yay! What day is it? It is March 16th, 2022 as I'm coming to you live, 11 a.m. Central Time. So if you are watching at another time, you're probably watching the recording, but to those of you that are watching live right now, a big welcome to all of you and a special big welcome if this is your first time on my channel. I'm glad that you're here. So today we are going to I'm going to show you how to make a WV fold, kind of a fun fold card that is unique. It's like a Z fold, but it's just got an extra couple folds in it, and then there's an attachment part, and it's really easy to make, but it's a wow when someone opens it. So they think, oh, it looks so complicated, but it's really not. So I'm going to show you how to make that, and we're going to be using the Symbols of Fortune Suite products to create most of the design. Let's see, what else do I want to tell you? Sorry, I'm using my double technology, you guys. So I have this connected to Facebook, although I'm not seeing any comments roll in, so I'm not sure if it's connected or not. If you're on Facebook, can you please say hello? And then those of you that are on YouTube, I can see your comments rolling in over here already. Oh, good. Oh, good. It looks like Sue and Ashley are on Facebook, so that must be working on that end. Okay, let me keep moving then. If you are on the live, you can either sit back and relax and enjoy, or you can join in on the chat. If you're on Facebook, you're able to chat right away. If you're on YouTube, you need to just make sure that you are logged into your Google or YouTube account, and then you're able to comment in the live. And if you comment, you get entered into a prize drawing. So on that note, let me introduce to you Miss Trisha Josephs, who is my moderator on YouTube. She's the gal who is the one who answers all the questions, the one who can help lead you in the right direction, all that sort of thing. She's awesome. And so please give a warm welcome to Trisha Josephs on YouTube. And then on Facebook, we have Lisa Marshall, who is my moderator. I don't necessarily need a moderator on Facebook, but it's nice to get your questions answered right away. And that way she can take care of all of your questions and comments as we go. So thank you to both of those gals. What else do I want to tell you before we continue on? Oh, because we had the last time I went live on both, it was 2 weeks ago. Last week was a special week, but 2 weeks ago I went live on both, and I didn't know how I was going to do the prizes. So we had 2 live drawings, and then we have an after live to do today for YouTube and an after live to do for Facebook. So I had 4 prizes for that. So I'm not sure how I'm going to move going forward. We might do 1 live on YouTube, 1 after live on YouTube, and then 1 from Facebook. I'm not sure yet, but we'll see. And then if you share the video, just comment that you shared. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're doing while you're watching. You know, somehow make a comment in there so that you can get entered into the prize drawing, because it's fun. All right, we're going to move to the next screen, and the next screen is going to show us the supplies. You're also going to be able to see the projects that we're going to be doing here. These are the cards. They're pretty cool, aren't they? These are fun fold cards. They're called WV folds, and you'll see why soon. So the supplies are listed on the right, the measurements in the middle section there. You do not have to worry about taking a screenshot of this, because this information and this actual PDF, which is going to be printable, can be found in my blog post that will follow the live recording. So once this live is over, around 12:15, which is a little over an hour from now, you'll be able to go to the blog post that is linked to the description in the video. There's a link in the video description, and you can click on that. You can see photos of all the projects. You can see the measurements. You can see the supply list in imagery, and then you can also see this PDF, which is downloadable. The video will land there as well, so if you only want to go to one place to see it, you can. All right, my head is in the way, so don't worry about trying to copy all the supplies down. Again, this will be available to you soon. If you're watching on YouTube, I believe I have the supply list in the description. I don't think I have it in the description of the Facebook post yet, because I'm still trying to figure out how to coordinate it all to have it both on Facebook and YouTube. But at this point, let's go ahead and move to my desktop. I'm going to introduce to you the Symbols of Fortune suite. So this is a beautiful suite of products. Hang on, I'm going to just click something on my computer here. There we go. This is a beautiful suite of products that was introduced in the January through June mini catalog. Beautiful imagery. The colors are gorgeous. When I was a teacher back in California, we made 1,000 paper cranes and hung them from the ceiling of our classroom. Probably a fire hazard, I don't know, but we did it back then, and it was so fun to teach the kids how to do origami, and we read Sadako and the 1,000 Paper Cranes book, and just a good message. Anyways, so this whole suite reminds me of that, and these are the beautiful products that you can get in that suite. Gorgeous papers with gold foiling on them, the stamp set and die, which you can get as a bundle or you can buy separately. When you get them as a bundle, you save 10%, by the way. This beautiful ribbon here, which is in the soft succulent color, some accents that are gorgeous. They're called polished dots, and then the mother of pearl paper. So let me show you those up close. We'll start with the stamp set because we need to mount a few of these stamps. The stamp set is a cling stamp set. So it is the red rubber, and I don't have all of my labels put on yet, but I have the ones that we need. So we're going to go ahead and pull the crane out, and we need the fun little dragonflies, and then this message here. And you can see there's lots of fun sentiments in there. Look at the font, by the way, because I want you to focus on this since I'm going to show you something else soon that has to do with the style of font. You can see there's some beautiful flowers, the crane, the dragonflies. I believe that's like a part of a bamboo plant, I'm guessing. And let's go ahead and mount these onto our clear blocks. So we're going to take and add our crane to our large. Which size is this? This is our E block. I don't use the E too often. This one is our C size block and our B size block. Okay, those stamps are ready. Let's bring in the dies that coordinate with that. You can see I've die cut a few pieces for samples, but so this is like a detailed die. It makes that look here. We've got some framelit type dies. These are the ones that cut around the image. Another one here, and then these are more detailed dies as well. And they coordinate with, of course, the images in the stamp set. Now let's introduce to you the designer paper. So, oops, I have one small sheet of one of the 6 designs, and we're going to use it all up today. But these are the 5 other designs. You actually get 2. Ooh, that's really close. You actually get 2 of each of these 12 by 12 sheets. So if we have 6 sheets, 6 times 2 is 12. You get 12 double-sided designs. This is the more colorful side. And here's the other one, by the way. Okay, and then this is the foiled side that has a smoky slate color and then the gold foiling on it. You can see lots of rich patterns, beautiful crane designs, plants, like a speckle look. Just fun stuff, right? Really pretty. Okay, and we're going to be using these 2 designs because they coordinate so well. We're going to be using them on our card. And then on a finished card that I have, another finished card that I have, we're going to be, I'm going to be showing you that I use this one and this one on that one. Okay, let's move those aside. And let's bring in the mother of pearl. By the way, the designer paper's colors are basic black, calypso coral, crumb cake, evening evergreen, smoky slate, and soft succulent. This is the mother of pearl paper, and you can see even just from far away that it's kind of got this really glittery look, but it's shiny and smooth, like you could slide on it. There's no friction at all. It's got a very smooth kind of coating on it, but it has the look of glitter. And yes, our bathroom remodel is still going on if you hear any noises in the background. Here are the polished dots. I've been playing around with some of mine, so these have a little bit of color on them because I think I put them on cardstock and then pulled them back off and didn't want to throw them away. but they are transparent. You have sort of a clear look and a pinky look, but this is actually called Very Vanilla, and this one's called Calypso Coral. They're super, super light though. And then we have the soft succulent ribbon. So any of these products, if you're interested in them, you can shop for them in my store. If you have a demonstrator, please shop from them. If you are a demonstrator yourself, shop from yourself. But just know that any of the stuff that I'm showing you, you can access and purchase if you're falling in love with it. So now, remember I told you to keep track of that font. This is another stamp set that's in the annual catalog. It's called Bamboo Beauty. The fonts are pretty much the same. So what I did for this card is I took a sentiment from here, did a little stamp surgery on it, and used it for the card that I wanted to make using these images. So if you have Crane of Fortune, you may want to invest in Bamboo Beauty. Bamboo Beauty. Say that 10 times fast. Let's do one little thing before we begin making our card, and that is we're going to die cut onto some vellum. And then I'll go through the basics of making the card. So I've got my vellum, and I put it on my scratchy plate. I've got my, my sandwiches 1, 2, 3. Okay, and the scratchy plate number 3 is at the bottom. The one that's in better shape is going to be at the top. And then I'm going to take my crane, the outline of my crane, and I'm going to die cut that. So we're just going to put this right on top. Make sure everything's lined up so that it goes through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine nice and straight. If it goes in at an angle, you might not be able to get it all the way through, so keep it nice and straight as we go. Well, hello, Karen. She says this is her first time on the live. I appreciate you joining. So there we have our crane. Now I did it in vellum. You could even do it in like window sheet, but I wanted something transparent. This is going to become a tool for our card. So that's the only reason why we needed the dies for this card. Although I could totally see, you know, adding the fun. Is this called ginkgo? I love plants, but I never know the names of them. But this one here would be fun added into the card. But we're not going to do it. My mind, it's racing with other ideas already. What? Come on, Rachel, focus on this one. Okay, so now let us bring in our base piece and the designer paper that we need to cut. If you are, oh, thank you, Jacqueline. If you are a beginning crafter, I'm hoping that you can follow along. You may need to invest in some tools because I already showed you the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, which is a pricey little thing, but you're going to love it if you're going to continue on crafting. But overall, I hope that my directions are able to guide you so that you can make this type of a card, even if you're a beginner. So we're having our 8.5 by 11 cardstock in front of us here, 8.5 by 11. We're going to cut it, but this time we're not going to cut it in half in one direction or the other. So for this card, we can't get 2 out of 1 piece of cardstock. Okay, this card involves a little bit bigger piece when it opens up. So we need to use 1 full sheet for 1 card. All right, sorry about that. It uses a little bit more cardstock. So what we're going to do is we're going to add this to our trimmer. We're lifting up the arm of our trimmer, and we're going to bring it to the 5.5 inch mark in this direction. Okay, so we're cutting parallel to the long side. We're going to cut off a 3-inch section over here. Keep that. You're going to need that. Ginkgo. Okay, I was right. Thanks, Janet. And now we're going to turn it in this direction. I'm going to extend the arm of our trimmer because we're going to need some of those extra measurements. And because I don't have it memorized, and I have to look at the PDF too, I'm going to quickly peek over here. We're going to score at 4 inches. So now we're using our light blade, which I've marked with the word score using a Sharpie marker. It's a good idea, right? So we're going to score at 4 inches. Then we're going to score at 5 3/4. Okay, I should zoom in so you guys can see this. All right, so I did 4 inches, and now I'm doing 5 3/4, which is this mark here. And then I'm going to go to 7.5. Yes, 7.5. So here's 7. There's the 1/2 inch mark. And then we're going to score at 9.25. So we're going to bring it to the 9.25 inch mark and score. This piece here, remember I told you not to toss that. We're going to cut that at 6 inches using our dark blade. This you won't need. And then we're going to score this down the middle at 3 inches. Make sure I score that nice and straight. Now measurements are important on this type of a card. If you're off by like 1/2 of a 1/16 of an inch or whatever, if you're off by a 1/16 or an 1/8, then it's really going to mess up. But definitely try to be as accurate as possible when you are doing all of these score lines. Okay, let's bring our bone folder in, and we're going to make our, oopsie, go back and forth and back and forth. Okay, we're going to make our M, or if you think of it this way, it's a W, right? They call it the W V fold. So we've got our W in here, and we're going to score and crease on all of those folds. Okay, so we're making those nice and crisp. It is a card that will take up a little bit of room in your envelope, so you may have to put an extra ounce postage on it because there's a little bumpiness with the pearls that we're going to add later. I actually recommend taking your card, putting another layer on top, like a piece of cardstock or something, to protect the pearls, and then mailing it with the non-machinable stamp. I think that's what you're going to really need to do with this card. So again, it's thick because of the layers of cardstock, but it's also got the pearls on it. So, okay, this piece here, we will just fold in half, make sure everything's lined up, and then we'll crease that nice and crisp too. Now we're going to bring in this beautiful paper. So this is the sheet that I told you I only have this much left of. I saved it because we need this whole thing. We're going to trim this 3-inch, it's a 3-inch wide piece. Oops. Now I'm too zoomed in. 3-inch wide piece, and we're going to trim that in half at 1.5 inches. And we're going vertically. You can see there's a design on here. We want our birds to not be flying the wrong way, right? So I've got 2 little strips here. Now I'm going to show you the finished card because you already saw a photo of it anyways on the little supply and measurement sheet. This is what we're making. Do you see? I'm actually going to need 3 of those strips according to the dimensions that I have for you and according to the way this card looks. But let me show you the other one that I did. This one here. If you peek down in the inside there, you can see that I did not use full strips. Haha. So if you are going to make several of these, which is what I needed to do with the cranes especially, I started out by making just a few of these, and then I said, no, I want this one to become a swap card or a gifting card that I can bring with me when I go to Utah. So I went to Utah last week for a Stampin' Up! Event, and I wanted to have cards to trade or exchange or give, and I realized that making those strips that long in there was going to cost me a lot of supplies, which I didn't have. So I either had to expedite an order or I needed to get a little smarter. So I cut my pieces to 1.5 by 1.5 for these 2 sections here. We're going to keep this one because I love the look of the birds, but let's go ahead and trim this down to 5.25 inches by 1.5, which is what it says in the measurements. Okay, we have that piece ready to go. And then this one here, you see how I just have clouds? So I can go ahead and make another cloud piece. So we have 2 1.5 by 1.5 pieces. And then we need a couple more 1.5 by 1.5. And thankfully these all kind of blended together pretty well. Okay, those will work. And this one will just, I guess I didn't use up the whole thing. I can save that for another card. All right, so now we can go ahead and start applying these pieces. We're going to grab our seal adhesive and we'll add, this strip is going to be our long one that goes on the left hand panel. You can see I've got 1/8 of an inch all the way around for my border there, so it looks nice and even. And now these we will add to the tops and bottoms of the second and third panels. And I think I'll put this one down here because there's less cloud at the top. There's where those are going to go. Make sure they look nice and even. We're going to shift that one. Okay, and then these two will go towards the top. Like this. Now for the WV fold, the hardest part is to get it to close flat and open flat. This piece is going to be added in here like this, and this becomes the V. So you see where the W is, right? Right up here, and here's the V. This part is where it gets tricky because if you add this in wrong or you add it in at a slight angle, it's not going to open up all the way and lie flat. And I'm going to show you some ways to manipulate that. But first we need to stamp on a couple of our white pieces. So these are the squares. These squares are all slightly smaller than our 3 by 3 black areas here. Okay, so we have our white, which is 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. We also have our designer paper, which is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. In fact, we can go ahead and put those together right now. So hello, Sandy from Wisconsin. So some of you are joining in with me on Facebook, and some of you are joining in with me on YouTube. I appreciate you coming to my online paper crafting class because it's more fun to stamp together. All right, so now we're gonna layer that, and we're gonna layer that onto the right hand side here, like so. So this piece is ready for our artistic work here. We're gonna do some artsy stuff now. So now we're gonna bring in that crane and the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And we will ink up our crane in all black. And I chose that because the design of the paper has black in it. So we'll ink that all up. And we're going to stamp it down. And what I did is I looked at the leg of the crane, the long, tall leg. And excuse me, because I have to kind of lean in here. The long, tall leg and the head. And I made sure that the leg was parallel to the side of the paper and the head was within the paper. Do you see that? So we've got the leg here, the side of the paper, and making sure that the head was in there. The head I thought was more important than the foot, but when we pull this away, you're going to see that the foot and the head will actually fit. All right, so here we go. Ta-da! Isn't that cool? All right, and then on this one, since we have the black ink out, let's go ahead and stamp the words, sending 1,000 well wishes on your special day. This is great for a wedding card. This is great for, I don't know, any kind of special day, graduation, anniversary. I thought of it as a birthday. So that's why I pulled in a couple more blocks and that stamp set that I did some stamp surgery on. So we're going to bring back the Bamboo Beauty. You can see here I cut apart one of my stamps. This one here that says you are so loved, that's all one stamp. I cut it in half. I do this sometimes when I want things to fit differently, and it's okay because you can still stamp them together the same way. You know, I could put them in a long row again if I wanted to, but this way I also have the option. You are so loved. Like that. Ta-da! Now it fits in there. Okay, the last thing that I want to do to color, actually there's two more things. I want to take my soft succulent ink with my blending brush and my vellum. And then I also want to do a blender pen. So my blends marker, sorry, this isn't a blender pen. My blends marker, Calypso Coral. I've got my dark Calypso Coral here, and I'm going to take the bullet tip. And do you see in the paper here, there's a small amount of red at the top of the crane's head. So we're just going to go over the top section here with a little bit of red, just like the paper. You could do that with a blender pen, which are those watercoloring type of pens, and then the ink pad. You could do it with the regular Stampin' Write marker. You could do it with a watercolor pencil or whatever you want to do, just to add a little bit of corally kind of red in there. This stamp we're saving for the white ink, so remind me I need to do that. Okay, so now the next step before we add this to our card is to lay this over the top of our already stamped crane. And because it's see-through, like vellum or window sheets always are, we can definitely line it up so that we have it covering our whole image in a nice even way. So I'm just going to shift that again a little bit here. And we're going to dip our marker into, or I'm sorry, our blending brush into the pad. Go off on the paper a bit so it's not super dark at the beginning. And I'm just going to hold my vellum down and start blending from the center out and away. Then when I want to move to another area, I'm just going to move my hand. All right, so let's go maybe over here. And it's just adding some fun background color. This is looking so cool, you guys. Okay, now when I pull this away, watch what happens. Ta-da! Isn't that neat? I love that technique. All right, so there you go. Super easy. Okay, let's layer these pieces on to our card now. This one is going to go here. You can see the marker goes through for blends markers, so just keep that in mind if you're going to invest in blends markers, especially if you're a beginning crafter, that the blends markers are alcohol based. They go through the cardstock pretty easily, so you want to have this applied to another layer before you have a finished card. All right, that's ready. Then let's add this to the inside of our card. And this is actually going to go first. So when you do any kind of card where you've got a piece that's going to cover another piece in the similar way on top, you need to add the bottom layer first, and then you can build up from there. So this piece is going to be added first. We're centering it side to side, and we're centering it up and down. Let's go ahead and stamp our dragonflies. Actually, let's do this at the end because I want to keep on going with this trick. So now what we'll do is we'll add this here, and it's going to be added to our card like so. All right, and then we're going to check it. So we're not going to press it down and then walk away from it. So we're covering up our white. Looks pretty even. We'll lay this down, check it again, and now we'll add this piece. Notice where I'm putting adhesive. I'm not putting it in the middle here because we don't want our V part to be stuck together. We just want this to be added to the side there. Now I've got it added, but what's going to happen is if I just do that and I walk away, it may not line up very well. So now I want to come back here. You can see what I've got going on here. I've got a little bit of a gap. That's okay, but because cardstock has a little pliability, we are able to push and kind of push those fibers together in the middle there. The main concern for me is this little seam here going to line up with this seam here? And as long as you've centered it, when you added it in this area, as long as it's centered, it should work out that way. Okay, so we're going to open and close it, and open and close. And once you've done that a few times and you've got it flexible, your card is ready to continue on with the decorating. So let's add our dragonflies. I'm using the white pigment ink, and this ink comes with a refill bottle. This ink comes with a refill bottle. So when you get it, you have to apply the ink. It comes with a little rubber scraper thing. You need to push the ink into the pad, but over time, it'll be nice and ready to go. And I keep checking the bottom because I want the ink nice and dense. Looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and stamp that into this corner here, like that. Push that out of the way. We're going to bring in the pearls and our take your pick tool. And if you want it to be less bulky, you want to avoid the largest pearls, but I want to add the largest pearl because it's so pretty. We're just going to take and add that right about there. We're going to add a small one right about there, and then we'll add another small one right about there. And you can add more. You can go crazy with embellishments. It's really easy to go crazy with embellishments. They're so pretty. All right, I think I used all the supplies that I needed to use. This card here, by the way, also has, that design has a matching framelit type of die or whatever, so you can do the same technique where you stamp this down first. That's Calypso Coral ink. You die cut your vellum, you place that piece over the top of your image, and then you do the blending brush. So they were made the same way. This one does have, for the dark ink, it's got the Evening Evergreen color, as well as the Evening Evergreen for the base cardstock. So two different versions, a softer version with the pinkish and greenish colors. I hope you enjoyed those. Yes, so why did I make these cards? This one here I made for some team members. So for top 10 in sales each month, I make some kind of fun card and I send those out to my top 10 in sales. And so this is the card that those people will be receiving. Congrats, yay. And then this card here, I mass produced many more of them and I brought them to Utah. So what did I do in Utah? I didn't tell you guys 2 weeks ago that I was going away to Utah because my mom was here watching the boys and I didn't want her to feel like, the whole world knew where I was. So kept it quiet and just blogged about it yesterday. I hope that you'll check out that blog post. It was really fun. So just go to my stampyourartout.com blog post and you can see the fun of the Million Sales Retreat that I was on with 16 other achieving demonstrators and our guests. And then the Stampin' Up! Employees, staff, the peeps there at Stampin' Up! We had such a fun time, and I am grateful to every one of my customers over these last 22 years because you're the ones that got me there. You purchased from me. I was able to get to that retreat, and I feel blessed. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So check that out. It was yesterday's blog post, and there's almost 60, I want to say there's 59 or 58 photos. There's almost 60 photos there because I could not decide which photos to leave out. So you'll be able to see photos of all the achievers, the fun stuff that I went, and experienced. My husband and I also did a 4-day extension at the beginning. So we stayed at this beautiful Airbnb with a hot tub and a grill outside and a fire pit outside, which we didn't use much because it was super cold at the time, but we had so much fun visiting Zion and Bryce Canyon and this other one that's a state park called Snow Canyon, which actually was one of my favorites. I just loved it. So yeah, it was a trip of a lifetime, and I am thankful to all of you who have supported me over these years. So check out those cards. We are going to have this card go live at 12:15 on my blog. Some news that I want to share with you, and then we'll do prizes as well, but we have some news in colors. Let me bring out my catalog now. So we have We have news. At this time of year, every year, it's either depressing news or it's exciting news, depending on what your attitude is, how you approach it, right? So I want you to look at this in a good way, because we have colors leaving, but that means we have 5 new colors coming too. And on that note, on the 23rd of March is when they're going to announce the retiring products. That's next week. So if you're placing an order anytime soon, I recommend adding anything in color that's leaving to your order if you want to get it. Because what happens, and it's happened quicker some years and not so quick other years, but it happens, and then you're like, well, now what do I do? Then you got to go to eBay or whatever, but things sell out, right? So the in colors that are going to be leaving us are the 2020 through 22 in colors. So forgive me, someone emailed me after I got back from the trip, and I cannot go back through my emails and figure out who that is, and I'm so sorry. Maybe it was a text. I'll have to look back in my text. But cinnamon cider is leaving. It is going away, and it will be gone. Just Jade is going to be gone. You know what? If it was you that texted me the last few days, because seriously, coming back from this trip, I'm still on vacation mode. Email me back and say, it was me. And then my stress will be relieved that you saw this video. But yes, cinnamon cider is leaving. Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. Any products that have those colors in them will be going. Designer papers that have any of those colors in them will be going. Ribbons, embellishments, of course the inks, papers, refills, anything that has any of those colors, you can guarantee will be on the retiring products list, and you should nab it up now, okay? These colors here will stick around for another year, so don't freak out. In fact, don't freak out if anything shows as currently unavailable, because that doesn't mean it's retiring. That does not mean it's retiring, at least at this point, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that Stampin' Up! Right now does not have any inventory on it, because the backorder situation cost Stampin' Up! A lot of money. They decided to not do back orders for a long length of time here during this pandemic, because it's just crazy. So if something's currently unavailable, it's just unavailable. Keep checking the online store. Things come and go quickly, like every day, every hour. And they don't tell us demonstrators, hey, hey, there's this came back or this is gone, or we don't get announcements like that. So you really just have to go to the online store to check that out. So again, you can visit my blog to get to the online store. I think you can get to, oops, that's my email. Anyways, online store, stampinup.com. Okay, so check those out. But once that retiring list comes out, or next week on the 23rd, those in colors will be on there, so you can guarantee that people will be grabbing them up if, I keep wanting to wipe this away, if they are gone. I'm sorry, if they are leaving. Prizes. Okay, I think that was it for the news. Oh, you know what else in the news? We have, let me see if I can find that. Let's go to my website. And I'm just going to click on a blog post. This is the one that I was telling you about. You'll want to check it out. Lots of fun images. Sorry, close your eyes if you're getting dizzy. I'm scrolling down to the bottom because this is where I put all of the promotions and specials that happen. At the bottom of every blog post is where you can find information on anything that's a special going on. 20% off savings in March. In fact, I was going to use my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Rachel. Rachel. Oh my gosh. Because the mini machine, not the big one, but the mini one, is on special. It's 20% off this month. These dies from the Fortune dies or whatever, they fit with the mini machine. That's why I listed that one as my product. Sorry. Yes, see, there it is. Instead of $60, it's $48. So make sure that you look at this flyer. There are also bundles, lots of bundles. And because I was planning for my trip, I did not take time to work ahead of time and create with these bundles. But a lot of these I do have ideas from them on my blog, so you can look. But I think I have to do something with this What's Cooking bundle because I have it and I haven't used it yet, and it's so darn cute. Watch for that. What else do I need to tell you? I think that is it. Okay, so prizes. Let's go back to the desktop because we have 4 prize winners who have not claimed the Waves of the Ocean prizes that I've announced. None of the 4 that have been picked for these prizes have claimed them. So I'm going to go to my computer and I'm going to pull up those names so that you can see. I had Debbie, Sia, KM. These were during the YouTube live, and I can't find you, by the way. There's no way for me to reach out to a live commenter after YouTube. So hopefully you're watching today, but you have not claimed your Waves of the Ocean products. I think Debbie emailed me, but she never sent me her email or her address, so I can't send them to you. But you're going to get a fun collection. Maria was an After Live winner on YouTube, and then Mitzi Chafin Adkinson was a winner from the After Live on Facebook. Then last week, winners that were drawn, and this is funny, I did not announce what the prize was last time. Not last week, but the week before when I was live. So I have a bunch of stuff. I have past celebration items. I have tutorials. So we can talk about it. If you get your name pulled up right now, just email me at stampyourartout.com. You guys are past winners, so let me show you who those are. So from the YouTube After Live comments, Eileen Tedescusi, I think that's how I say your name. Tedescusi, you have won. And then also we have from the Facebook commenters, Pam Huffaker-Belders. So congratulations to both of you. Make sure you reach out to me at stampyourartout@comcast.net so that I can send you a prize. And again, it's up in the air. We don't have anything specific. So yay, right? For the prize winning from today and the After Live prizes that we will draw, honestly, I'm just coming back from vacation. Why don't we do an in-color sampler? Does that sound good? So colors that are leaving, I'm going to send out an in-color sampler to you. So that sounds good. And Trisha Josephs just announced the 2 prize winners from YouTube. So yay to Miss Rose Carey and Eva White. Again, you need to reach out to me at my email address so that I can quickly send out the prizes to you. Send me your address, okay? And then for those of you watching on Facebook, and there are a lot of you, thank you so much for chiming in on the comments too. And then for those of you that watch after the live on YouTube, we will draw winners from each of those areas. So yes, congratulations, like Kathy said. Congratulations to all the winners. We're so happy for you. On that note, I'm gonna let you guys go. Next week, I will be live at 11 a.m. Central Time on March 23rd. Yay, congrats to all the winners. Thank you for watching. I feel weird because I'm ending 15 minutes earlier than I normally do. But that's good. This is what our goal was, right, Trisha? All right. So I'm going to let you go, and now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.